Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the Papa Joe Show, where Papa Joe knows. I am your host, Papa Joe, and I really do appreciate you all being here today. It is, in fact, a beautiful day here. It is hot as I'll get out, and it is just intensely heat here in the southeast. It has been crazy, just to put it bluntly. So thank you all for being here today. Today we're going to take a look at some interesting, funny stuff that I came across last night, and then ended up having finding more about it today on regular news outlets. Whatever picked it up, it was very funny. We're going to talk through some stuff that Nayib Bukele and Peter Schiff went back and forth on Twitter. It was very funny, but it is also real and true as to what they ended up doing and how they ended up following through with some interesting stuff there. When I say that, I mean more along the lines of, hey, banking doesn't work, crypto does. Some of the same stuff that we kind of talk about here on the show here. We're also going to take a look at some legalization of Bitcoin and more adoption in other parts of the world, as well as looking into reserve statuses of Bitcoin. Very unique things around that. And then I think I might touch on some housing stuff because I haven't talked about that in a few minutes, and it's getting interesting. So if you are new to the show, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, grab the bell as well so you never miss when I go live. If you want more Papa Joe, I do have a Patreon scrolling right here at the bottom of the screen. There's also Crypto Confidential. That is more educational, and it is also a community of folks. There's an event coming up for that, and I will be cooking for it. Hopefully doing some briskets and ribs, maybe some things else. I don't know yet what's going to happen. Still haven't fully decided. Anyways, check those out. The Crypto Confidential is an investment. Well, technically they both are, but it does help the channel out, as well as at the end of the day, it helps you out too. So anyhow, check those out. I would love it if you guys and gals would join those. That'd be fantastic. And then the other stuff, let's see, show notes tomorrow. There will be no show at all. One of my family friends, and I guess technically family too, passed away this past week. So we will be attending their funeral and trying to just be there for the family that's there and their friends and all that fun stuff. So there will be no show tomorrow. I might queue up some I don't know. I might queue up some fun stuff around. I don't know. Figure it out. But yeah, not going to be available tomorrow at all. So today will be the last set of shows for the week. So anyways, throw that out there for you all and kind of go from there. So jump right in here and take a look at what's going on in crypto world. We have Bitcoin edging up towards 21,000. By the way, what you're drinking, throw it in there. This is sweet tea, some lemon in it. It's very yummy. Those of you who do not have beards, it is extremely hard to drink anything without a straw, unless it's coffee for whatever reason. Because you kind of sip on coffee. I digress. Anyways, so yeah, Bitcoin's bumping up today a little bit, and so is the Dow. It's also very interesting, but this is not normal. I keep pointing this out. The gaps like this are not normal, not okay. Look at the day. There are gaps in the day. Should not be doing that kind of stuff. Just not normal. Look at the day for Bitcoin. Everything's connected. Everything crosses over. It's perfect. When you start seeing gapping like that, there is significant unhealthiness, if you will, in the entire environment. So we have the Nasdaq doing the same thing, and so is the S&P 500. Very, very, very interesting. Let's see here. Sorry, I was noticing a few different things here in the chat, so thank you for that. By the way, if you stick around to the end, we're going to use the chat as a Q&A. So throw some questions out there, some comments, whatever you want to, and I'll try to address those at the end. Gold is up, silver is up, but gold and silver both got slammed down twice. It looks like, I don't know, crazy stuff. Divi's trying to make its comeback as well. We'll see what happens with that one. Divi is a big deal. Look at Matic. Matic's taking a nice, gentle rise. I like that. Matic is not something to miss out on, folks. 7% today so far. Axie is another one. This is a game, but there's a ton of residual income that can be made with that one. Very, very cool stuff. Mortgage rates seem to have taken a tiny little drop, but realistically speaking, that is a parabolic move, unlike anything we have seen in the history of the mortgage rates, except for maybe there. That is a pretty parabolic move. But that was back in the 70s and 80s. That went up into the 17, 18s. That was when the dollar actually had value. Where a brand new home costs like less than $40,000, or right at $40,000. Actual value in purchasing a home. Yeah, very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. So, what's going on in the world of crypto? Bitcoin versus the bank. Nayib Bukele reminds Peter Schiff why banks cannot trump Bitcoin. And I love it. There's a Twitter exchange here. Peter Schiff Bitcoin has failed to live up to the hype, and those institutions that put a toe in the water last year are not likely to take the plunge. This year, most will opt out or opt to cut their losses and sell. I doubt Saylor and Nayib Bukele have enough dry powder to keep the market propped up. And Nayib Bukele responds to him about 6 months later. This is January. He responds this just a few weeks ago, or actually just yesterday, actually, looks like. How's your bank going? Yeah, that was nice, funny. Anyway, Peter Schiff's bank closed, if you're not aware. His bank closed, which highlights why Bitcoin is crucial for financial freedom. As the nascent asset class has already helped nearly 4 million unbanked El Salvadorians, whatever, to gain banking facilities. So Bitcoin helps to bank the unbanked, which there are a lot more people in BRICS. Let's see, we got the G7, and then if you include the G8, you get Russia, which Russia is not included. And then the whole G20 includes the rest of the BRICS effectively. So what ends up happening with that is there's a lot more people in BRICS than there are in the G7, like a lot more countries. Like a lot. Now they're going into Bitcoin, legal tender. This is why the IMF, the BIS, and the World Bank are freaking out. The BIS is, I'm going to get into that here in a minute. I guess, I've already kind of talked about it in one of the shows, but I really kind of want to tie it into this because it does go together. Anyways, since the closure of the bank in Puerto Rico, Peter Schiff has been on the receiving end of Bitcoin proponents, reminding him this wouldn't have happened if he was using Bitcoin. It really wouldn't, because Bitcoin isn't a bank. It is money. It is a store of value. It is a transfer of value. The latest to taunt the gold proponent is none other than El Salvador President Nayib Bukele, who has had a fair share of interactions with Schiff ever since El Salvador adopted Bitcoin as legal tender last year. Bukele responded to one of the tweets made by Schiff, in January this year, criticizing Bitcoin and predicting that the likes of MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor and Bukele himself would eventually have to sell their Bitcoin holdings as price drops. The president responded with the tweet by asking about his bank. The exchange between the two critics comes when the global financial markets are in ruins. They're not quite in ruins yet, but they're about to be. On one hand, the crypto market has lost more than 60% of the market cap from the top, and the other, the equity market, it's at an all-time low. Very, very fun stuff. Where is it? Here, I guess he responded. The IRS and J5 targeted my bank due to my outspoken criticism of excess government taxation and regulation. Their illegal efforts to punish free speech, deprive me of property without due process, and needlessly put thousands of customers at risk actually justifies my criticism. How does it justify your criticism? Because it has nothing to do. Your bank died, dude. Banking is slavery. You are tied to and or at the beckoning of the banks. And whatever they say, the centralization of the banks and everything around them is straight up. When you understand the depth of evil that is behind banking, you'll understand why I personally have such a bent towards not using them at all in any way possible. I don't, as much as I possibly can. Now, I still do, okay, using the systems and loopholes that they have set up accordingly, just simply paying attention to how they do it and then following suit. That's simple. So using it against them kind of thing. There's a lot of people who went out and figured out how to, I'm not one of them, to go ahead and put this out there. There's a lot of people who figured out how to take debt instruments and turn it into crypto, taking the bank's money and buying crypto with it instead of using their own money. I have not done that myself. There are a lot of people who have, and they are better off for it. They've done really well for themselves by doing that. It's interesting stuff. Just been putting it that way. Anyway, fun times. Basically, he criticizes Bitcoin. Bukele says, simply trolls him. It's very funny how he did that. You gotta love the millennial president. I think he's a millennial. Maybe he's 30s, 40s. I don't know. He's around that ballpark, but he's trolling somebody. It's funny. And then he comes back and whines and complains. It's just hilarious. That's all they can do, by the way, folks. That's all the banks can do. They can only sit there and whine and complain because we, the people, realize that we, the people, have our own money. We don't need them. We don't need their constructs. We don't need their control. We don't need them to tell us, oh, you can only pull this much money out of the bank. You can only spend this much in a day. You can only do whatever. Very, very constrained, very, very tracked. Everything you do is seen. Although Bitcoin is semi-anonymous. It's not fully anonymous. Like Monero or Cloak or Pirate, actually, if you want an anonymous coin, those really are, if you wanted to send money through a blockchain, those coins don't exactly leave much of a trace, if any at all. Just to be honest with you, it is very interesting to watch any of these banks try. They try to keep people in their system. And then they try all this FUD and everything else. But then they come out and do this. Bank of International Settlements, BIS, explores allowing banks to hold 1% of reserve in Bitcoin. So whatever their reserve is, they're going to allow them to. It's not just Bitcoin, by the way. It's cryptocurrencies that meet a specific class or whatever one you want to call it. So it's not just Bitcoin, and y'all can't see that. Hang on. Bank of International Settlements has kept consulting relevant parties in regards to a proposal, that would allow financial institutions across the world to incorporate digital assets within their balance sheets. Digital assets does not mean just Bitcoin for what it is worth. Just saying. Last month, the bank published its second consecutive document in which some of the terms used to define digital assets classify them based on their riskiness and other similar factors have been modified. As per the Bank of International Settlements, digital assets are being grouped into different tiers depending on whether they meet certain minimum criteria or not. Group 1 assets are traditional tokenized assets and stablecoins that have effective stabilization mechanisms. This group would be subject to traditional capital requirements as laid out in existing Basel capital framework. Basel, whatever you want to call it. However, the text clarifies the algorithmic stablecoins are not considered part of Group 1 assets. Meanwhile, Group 2 assets are those that fail to meet these conditions and are considered riskier. Hence, the capital requirements for maintaining these assets within the institution's balance sheet are higher. The consultation proposes that Group 2 assets must be limited to 1% of the bank's Tier 1 capital, with Bitcoin being one of the assets considered part of this group due to its absence of a counterparty. Crazy stuff. What happens when 1% of the world's banks put what happens when all the world's banks put 1% of their reserves in Bitcoin? That's a lot of money. That's so much money that there's not enough Bitcoin to go around currently at current prices. That whole Bitcoin is divisible by 100 million Satoshis. That's great. The price that Bitcoin would increase would be exponentially massive, that it would become the world's reserve currency overnight if they even put 1% in as a reserve. So they're signaling to the world that the banks can now hold Bitcoin as reserve currency in their reserves. And if you understand how banking works, they're only supposed to keep 10% of the money that they have, blah, blah, blah. You know, the whole fractional reserve banking system. Yeah, that whole crazy stuff. Anyways, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go read The Creature from Jekyll Island. It really gets into it. If you also want to know why I have such a disdain for banking and whatnot, go read The Creature from Jekyll Island. It will open your eyes to a harsh truth, unfortunately. It'll smack you upside the head, and you'll have to probably read it again, or you'll start down different rabbit holes and go, what else is not true in life? Crazy stuff. So, Nayib trolls Peter Schiff about his bank closing after Schiff gave him and Saylor a hard time. Bank of International Settlements is now saying that banks, I don't know what just happened there, that banks can now hold 1% of their reserves in Bitcoin. You've got the Central African Republic is moving full steam ahead with plans for its own digital currency, despite financial experts' widespread concerns about its lack of transparency. CAR, or Central African Republic, legalizes Bitcoin, introduces digital currencies. Crazy stuff. President Fassine Archain, I cannot pronounce his last name, Tarudra, whatever, announced on July 3rd that his government was officially launching a new digital system powered by blockchain technology. CAR is developing its own cryptocurrency, so a sovereign token. Where did we heard that? So you got the CBDCs, sovereign tokens. Who was it that said that was going to happen? Oh yeah, Cliff High. Cliff High talked about sovereign tokens. Yep. Yep. That's coming everywhere. The whole world's going to do it. By the way, the banks are going to try to do this 3 separate times, and they're all going to fail, and everyone's going to go back to Bitcoin anyways because nobody wants their stuff to be tracked. Yeah. Anyways, CAR developing its own cryptocurrency, the Sango coin, he said, with plans to create a crypto island. Now that would be cool. A special economic zone in the metaverse to help transform the country into the first African crypto hub with zero taxation. You know why everyone around the world who does anything that has anything to do with crypto says that they're not going to tax it? Well, because they can't legally do that. There's no legal framework. There's no legal jurisdiction around the taxation of cryptocurrency. By the way, everything on my show is for educational and or entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. This is my personal opinion and the different research that I have done. Their jurisdiction for taxation falls within the dollar and or their sovereign tokens or coins or whatever their currency is, whatever the legal tender is. And if they don't issue it, they can't legally do it. There's a whole bunch of really realistic rules around that. So do your research. Anyhow, the alternative to cash is cryptocurrency, the president said. For us, the formal economy is no longer an option. Interesting. In April, Qatar became the first country in Africa and only the second in the world after El Salvador to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. Tonga announced similar plans earlier this year, but has yet to enact legislation. So, yet another country setting up Bitcoin and its own cryptocurrency. 44 nations met in El Salvador to learn how to implement cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, as legal tender. Guys and gals, for all of you who have been beaten up by your friends and families and you're crazy and you don't know what you're talking about and Bitcoin, I'm not touching Bitcoin. It's too volatile. So is the stock market. You know what happens every 20 to 50 years? I know that's a big gap, but you know what happens? The stock market collapses. Bitcoin just does it a lot sooner, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. What Bitcoin does, guys and gals, what Bitcoin will be for the world is yet to be even acknowledged by the masses. No one understands exactly what's going to happen. It's about to get crazy, and the minute's going to be amazing. Realistically speaking, folks, we're coming into a, let me reset this over here. I think Bitcoin's about to hit a bull market. Just a thought. Excuse me. Just something, I don't know. I think we've come around and we're starting to see the bottom being in right around the 200 WMA. I think we're going to start seeing things really run. It's just my personal opinion. Do your own research, guys and gals. I really think we're going to see some crazy stuff happening. Very interesting times right now. How quickly the tables have turned. A drop in mortgage rates has home buyers so cocky they're asking sellers for cash. Whoever wrote this article did not, I don't think personally, per my personal opinion, don't have a finger on what's going on in the world. A home in our area has been on the market for a little while. Still way overpriced. It's never been sold. It was built and it has not been sold yet, but it's still way overpriced. So it was in a unique, specific thing. Drop the price a little bit, a couple $1,000s, and then put in the description that they will be paying X amount of money as cash towards closing. And this person has the gall to come here and say that home buyers are so cocky they're asking sellers for cash. I don't know what world these people live in, but I got to be honest. They don't understand how high the prices have gone in the home market, the housing market. They don't understand that people can't buy at this level unless they have massive amounts of money or special types of credit and all that kind of fun stuff. Multiple types of loans, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't work. People can't do it, can't afford it. This is interesting to me because home buyers are starting to actually ask for closing again. They're starting to ask for inspections again. They're starting to take the due diligence period, etc. Accurately. They're starting to actually ask or offer less than what the people are putting out there. I made a joke the other day. I was like, I'm about ready to go tell my realtor, say, hey, I like these 5 houses. I want you to offer $50,000 more than they paid for it, which is a lot because most of those houses have been bought in 2019, 2020, 2021, and even in 2022. And they're asking for, in some cases, $1 million more than they paid for it. A $50,000 rise in 3 years, 2 years, is substantial in the price of a home. Not $1 million. They're crazy. After a string of steady increases, mortgage rates fell this past week, a mixed blessing for a fragile U.S. economy. Not really. The lower rate in the 30-year fixed mortgage is a relief for home shoppers who have been watching rates climb, but it's also a sign that a recession could very well be around the corner and the market slows. Rates tend to mirror the 10-year Treasury. By the way, if you want to know what the rates will go to happen, watch the 10-year Treasury, which have fallen as investors seek safer, more stable assets in the face of higher inflation, slower economic growth. Rising prices are eating into customers' paychecks, leaving many Americans with less money for discretionary spending. In addition, the inflation outpacing pay raises, which means a recession. Most workers are seeing their income fall behind, further straining the finances of buyers who are also facing higher borrowing costs. Yeah. The average 30-year mortgage rate fell. I'm trying to combine the words there. Sorry about that. To 5.7 last week, down from 5.81 a week previously. Whatever. Housing finance giant Freddie Mac reported Thursday. A year ago this time, the 30-year rate was 2.98. I think the rule of thumb is, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but the rule of thumb is a home price will decrease by $20,000 every percentage point it increases. So that is 3 percentage points. So $20,000 every single time. No, excuse me, not $20,000. 20%. My bad. 20% every percentage points increase. So we're at almost 3 exactly. Almost. 20%, 3 times 60%. So the home value should drop 60%, which they all rose about 60% for what it's worth. Yeah. So the home market, the housing market is in fact, as much as I don't like it, and I'm sure you guys do not as well, it is in fact the bedrock of our economy, and there's not a lot we can do about it. And I do realistically, I feel really bad for the folks that are not paying attention to the Bitcoin. They think the market is hunky-dory and everything's great. They think that Bitcoin is worthless and not worth your time, and they think that the home values are going to continue to increase. They've lost their minds. They've got their heads buried in the sand. They don't know what's going on. I really feel bad for those people. And you can try and tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, please look at this information. The data doesn't care about your feelings or what you think. If you think the prices are going to increase, if you think Bitcoin's going to do this, you think the interest rates are going to do that, if you think the economy is failing or not failing, whatever, the data don't lie, and it does not care about what you feel. Just look at the data. If the data says Bitcoin's going up, the data says Bitcoin's going down, home prices going up, home prices going down, whatever. Look at the data. Take your emotions out of it. It's highly important. Highly important. Very few people can do that. Try. All right, as I promised earlier, I'm going to go through the chat and say hey to everybody, and I'm also going to take the opportunity to check out any questions, comments, concerns. Before I do that, if you want to see more PAPAJO stuff, check out the Patreon. You just scroll in right here on the bottom of the screen and link in the description of the video. If you want to have more educational related stuff and a community of folks who know what they're doing and living the crypto life, check out Crypto Confidential. It's right here. And it's also in the description of the video. If you want to have some one-on-one time with me, schedule some time with me there. If you liked the show thus far and have gotten this far, just do me a favor and smash the likes. It does let YouTube know that the content here is worth other people watching, and then they bring other people to the show. If you have not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. It does help the channel out for sure, and I do greatly appreciate it. With all of that being said, as I was mentioned earlier, show notes, I will not have a show at all tomorrow. I might restream something, but we lost a family member, family friend, and we will be attending their services tomorrow. So I will not be present for the shows. So must take care of the family first. So, Daddy O, what's up? Ha, you did get first, and no big one. I love it, brother. I mean, y'all could duke it out and have fun, and y'all figure out what you want to do. It's fine with me. But I got nothing there for you. What's up, Bitcoin Bull? Yeah, if I get half a Bitcoin for a second, I love it. You guys are fantastic. You get more Litecoin. 1.5 actually. That's the first like. Y'all are great. I love it. What's going on, Tom? How you doing, brother? I appreciate you being here, man. Hope you're doing well. Rick, what's up, brother? How you doing? Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I really do appreciate that greatly. Fatty's Bar, what's going on? How you doing? You're not late. Better late than never. I do appreciate you being here. Tom, when I changed my number, PAPAJO, I lost my BitTrue account. They wanted me to find the email when I signed up. It's deleted. I can't find it, and they want first transaction on. I can't give it to them. Ew. Tom, grab some time with me, and let's take a look at that. Yeah, fun stuff. Or text me. I think you have my phone number. Anyways, what's going on, Clinton Westwood? How you doing? You should be in here, man. I love it that you're here. I need to come up to your place and hang out sometime and do one of your, or actually, I think you guys are coming to my neck of the woods. Not far from now, I don't think. You and Lisa would love it if y'all would love to see you guys meet the fam, hang out, and whatnot. It'd be kind of fun. Let's see who else we got in the show today. Blah 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 blah. We got Steven. What's going on? How you doing? It's fantastic seeing you here, man. I love it that you guys are here. Who else we got in the chat today? Busy Mountain, how you doing? Thanks for being here. Really do appreciate it for sure. Bitcoin Bull, culture update. People from El Salvador are called Salvadorians, not El Salvadorians. Sorry, I have a Salvadorian friend. And who corrects me? Love it. Appreciate it. We got Mr. UI Fang. Ui Fang? I don't know. I will butcher that kind of stuff left, right, up, and down. I'm going to go Mr. Ui Fang or UI Fang. Whatever. Thanks for being here today, man. How you doing? I love it. Who else we got here today? By the way, I missed live yesterday, but watch later. To be clear, I lost more golf balls than PAPAJO. Oh, brother, you did not. You did not. I lost a lot more. Like a lot more. Oh, fun times. Love it, love it, love it. Let's see who else we got here today. Oh, goodness gracious alive. Man, you guys had a wonderful talk the whole time. Yes, David did. Daddy-O, exactly. We, the people, have more power than we sometimes even realize. You are not wrong. You know, fun fact. I don't remember who it was or when it was, but someone in our military asked someone in the Russian military. Not asked. The Russian military dude told our guys that they were never afraid of our military. Never afraid of our military. But in every single scenario that they played out, that they could never actually invade this country because they, no matter where they dropped their personnel, landed the personnel, whatever, they would be falling under fire. They would be coming in under fire. We, the people, have firearms for a reason, and it's not just to protect us from foreign powers, it's also to protect us from internals as well. Daddy-O, William Wallace was right the whole time. You are not wrong, my friend. You're not. I need to watch that movie. I read that book when I was a kid too. I have Scottish history, Scottish lineage and know a good bit about it too. So I need to go check it out. It's been a little bit since I've looked into stuff like that. Stephen, you forgot sometimes you're told you need to order that amount of cash. yeah. You were told how much you can pull out. That's right. Kim, how you doing this afternoon? Sad. Appreciate you being here very much. Who else we got here today? They only wish they could loan out 9 Bitcoin for every one they have. Yeah. That's not fun stuff. Let's see who else we got in here today. Oh, we got David Daddy in the house. What's up, brother? Appreciate you being here today. We got Twigs. How you doing? And Bandicoot. What's up? How you doing? It's been a while. Hopefully you're doing well. I love it. Appreciate you being here. Everything in my screen just jumped. I have no idea where I was. There it is. Twigs. Better late than never. Realistically, I really do appreciate you being here too. Debt-based economies rely on mortgages. You are straight up 100% correct, and that is why I keep saying that our economy is built on the housing market, because the housing market is what keeps it alive. Let's see who else we got here today. Let's see who else we got. Johnny Mattis, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you being here today. Thanks, guys. I do appreciate it very much so. Appreciate it. And I know that the individuals are watching this as well. The families, they will watch this and they will see this. So thank you. We definitely lost a true warrior, a man of God, for sure. We've got Truth Creeker, first time. What's up? How you doing? Thanks for popping in. I do appreciate you being here. I love it. Thanks for being here. Who else we got in here today? We've got Joe. What's up, brother? Better late than never, man. Better late than never. Fun stuff for sure. Samstorm, what's up? How you doing? All right, guys and gals, I got to jump. Talk to you all later this afternoon. Patreon show, if you're not part of it, consider joining. Love you all, and y'all be blessed. Good night or good afternoon. See you.